Welcome. In this session, I am going to discuss the remaining part of the competition, and after that, we will also see about predation. Right. So, in the last session, I discussed about interspecific competition. So, I told that this competition is of two types: interspecific and intraspecific competition. So, now under this, we will see intraspecific competition. I'll say about intraspecific competition. So what we mean by this intraspecific competition? So this intraspecific competition is the one which will be within the species. So that's going to be within the species, which means that it exists between individuals of a or individuals of same species. So this exists between individuals of same species. So intraspecific competition, which means here intra within the species, competition will be taking place. Okay, so this competition can be for food. So this competition is for food, okay, and for space and for mate. So for that, the competition will be taking place. So they need to fight for the food, okay, they need to fight for the space and also fight for the mate. So in this case, I have one word like the cannibalism. So this cannibalism, what we mean by this cannibalism is eating its own kind. Okay, so it's simply means eating of its own kind. So in some cases, okay, in some species we see that uh, the individuals will be eating the other individuals of the same species. So in this case, the condition is called cannibalism. So this cannibalism helps in reducing intra-specific competition. So it reduces intraspecific competition. Okay, right. So that's all about the intraspecific competition, right? Next, we will see about predation. So what we mean by this predation? So predation is a biological interaction. So it is a biological interaction in which a predator, okay, feeds on its prey. So in which a predator feeds on its prey is what I call the predation here. So in the predation, we say there is a predator and there is prey. Okay, so the predator is the organism that eats the prey. Like for example, if we take the predator, the lion, and the prey is its deer. So not only deer, so there are even the buffaloes, and many other animals it can feed on. So just I have given one example on this. Okay, so predator, if you take it's a lion, then the prey is deer. So not always in case of whenever we say predator and lion, into our mind we get the lion and a deer or a tiger or a deer. Okay, so all these are okay, tigers, right? So for them also the prey is deer or other animals. Even we can take the zebras, okay, and so etc. Will all be the prey. Now, even in case of plants, if we take herbivorous animals, so these herbivorous animals also are predators. Okay, not only the lion and tigers are predators, but herbivorous animals are also predators. For these herbivorous animals, the prey is plant species. So there are plant species. Okay, so here in this relation, the prey has ability to run away from the predators, but the plants don't have that ability to run away from the its predators, which are called herbivorous animals. So now in course of time, in this case, as the deers and zebras like to get away from the predator, the tigers, lions, and whatever the predators, they have adopted new techniques to catch them. And at the same time, these prey also have adopted new techniques to get away from the predators. And in this case also the same. So these herbivorous animals have developed new techniques to catch the prey or eat these plants, right? And the plant species, as they are not able to get away from, they are also have developed new techniques to prevent eating them, okay, from or get protection from that herbivorous animals, right? So now here the predators, we think that they are of no importance. The predators are of no importance in the ecology, but the predators are very, very important. So we think that they are eating some other organisms, and we should stop them. That is not at all correct, okay, because in ecology every species need to depend on one another, and the predators have specific roles in the ecology. So what are that roles of the predators, right? So let's see the roles of predators. So when coming to these roles of the predator, we see that they keep prey population. So they keep prey population under control. They keep prey population under control. Okay, see, without that predators, the prey population can grow into huge numbers. So here we'll see one example how they are going to keep the prey population under control. Now in 1920s, okay, a plant named prickly pear cactus, prickly pear cactus. So in 1920s, this plant, the prickly pear cactus, was introduced into Australia. So this was introduced into Australia. So here, whenever a prey is introduced into a new area, so that new area will not have its natural predator. So in the absence of that natural predator, the prey species can increase to a huge numbers. Okay, the prickly pear cactus, when it was introduced into Australia, it was not having its natural predator. Earlier, wherever it is present, so there it used to have its natural predator and its population was under control. But when it was newly introduced into Australia, so there was no natural predator, and what happened is within a short period of time this prickly pear cactus spread very rapidly, okay, into millions of hectares. So what happened, okay, it quickly spread into millions of hectares. So it quickly spread into millions of hectares, okay, of those grasslands, deserts. So almost it has occupied most of the locations in case of Australia here. So it has gone into shrublands, woodlands, okay, in all locations, shrublands, okay, woodlands and whatnot, etc. In all these, into all these locations, the prickly pear cactus, it quickly spread. Okay, now because this all happened due to absence of its natural predator. So this happened due to absence of its natural predator, due to absence of its natural predator. Now, to bring the population, that is prickly pear cactus population, okay, to normal, so what they have done is, okay, they have brought this something called the cactus feeding uh, moth. So to bring the prickly pear cactus population down, so they have introduced the cactus eating moth. So they have introduced a cactus eating moth. So after introducing okay, this cactus eating moth, okay, into the area, so what happened is the cactus population came down. The cactus population came down. So the population they brought under control by introducing its natural, you know, predator. So that's what the statement here. The prey population is kept under control by the predators. Okay. So for that we have seen this as an example here. Now, right, the next one and another role we shall see. I hope this is clear. So how the prey populations are kept under control by the predator. So without predators, the prey population number can go into huge numbers and it can cause an ecological imbalance, right? So the next one is they help in maintaining they help in maintaining diversity in a community, help in maintaining diversity in a community by reducing, okay, so they are going to reduce the intraspecific competition. So diversity in a community by reducing competition among competing species. So competition among these okay, competing species. I say that in this the prey species, I mean specifically about this prey species. Okay, they are going to eliminate the intraspecific competition and also the competition that exists between different species. Say suppose if the lions and tigers, these predators are not present, then we know that the zebras, tigers, giraffes and many other organisms who are herbivores, their population increases and they will fight for those limited resources. Hence all these animals will be competing for the same resources, that is plants, okay, and the competition exists, and in this course of time it can happen that the less competing species or whatever, it can become extinct, okay, if not it may try to evolve into something else, whatever. But the point is that there can be a lot of damage to that competition that exists between different species. Now uh, and of course I said that there is a chance of elimination of some species among those competing species. Now when the population size of every species is kept under control, then there will be all that different species still existing, so which means that the diversity among that competing species will exist. Okay, say suppose here we have one species. Okay, this is another species and this is another species, and this is the populations are controlled. Okay, so because of the presence of predators, if that predators are not present, then its population size increases, its population size increases, and its population size increases, and you can see the competition that starts between all these three different species, right? And eventually some of the species may become extinct. But if the populations are under control, all the three species will exist. So that's what I say, the diversity in community will be present if the populations are under control, right? Now that's the role of predator, which will maintain the diversity of that different species in a community by reducing the competition among that competing prey species. So now in this case we'll take an example, right? A starfish whose name is Pisaster. A starfish whose name is Pisaster, so is actually an important predator that will be seen in rocky intertidal communities. So it's a predator, and this is present in rocky intertidal communities. Present in rocky intertidal communities. Okay, and that rocky intertidal communities of American Pacific coast. So that is of American Pacific coast. So in that location, in the American Pacific coast, the rocky intertidal communities, okay, so have one predator that's called starfish pisaster. So it's a pisaster. Okay. Now what happened is, in a field experiment, what scientists did is they removed that pisaster, okay, from that rocky intertidal communities. So when pisaster was removed, what scientists observed is that, okay, so in that area more than 10 different species, so in that area more than 10 different species became extinct within a year. So they became extinct within a year. So when that predator was, so now I told you earlier, so that when different species are competing, so what happens is, right, for the same resources, so there will be competition, that as I told, competition exists, and because of that some the lower species may become extinct. Okay, so in fact that may result in extinction of several different species. In this case you can observe, so 10 different, more than 10 different species became extinct within a year when this disaster was removed. So disaster is actually by eating these 10 different species, it's keeping their population under control. So there, when the population is under control, there is no competition present between them. So hence all that 10 different species were existing normally. But in when it was removed, it happened, their population increased and competition started between them, and it resulted in the extinction of all that, okay, different species in that rocky intertidal areas. Okay, right. So that is because, so this extinction of 10 different species is the due to interspecific competition. So due to interspecific competition, all those, okay, members, they became extinct. I mean, all those different species became extinct, right? Then, so this is another role of these predators. Okay, now we'll see that not always the predators, of course, the predators, we think they are very rude towards their prey. Okay, and all the time they like to kill them and eat them, and so, but not the case. The point is that the predators are actually prudent. So predators are prudent. Okay, so what we mean by the predators are prudent. So prudent means they are careful. So they are careful in killing those prey or eating on the prey, because they know that if they continuously go on killing, even when there is no need for killing them. See, already a tiger has eaten food, but immediately when it sees a prey, okay, it will not kill it, because its desire is over, so it's not required to again kill it and it. If it does, then within a short period of time all its prey species will become extinct, and if they become extinct, then predator will also become extinct, and this is what they know it. Okay, and for that reason, the the predators will not unnecessarily, okay, kill the prey or eat the prey, right? So even the herbivorous animals and all, so they are, you know uh, careful in eating that prey. So predators are prudent here. So that's what we say, the predators will not kill the prey unnecessarily, right? And they are going to kill only when there is a necessity, when they are very hungry, then only they are going to eat, otherwise they will be not killing. So this means, okay, they do not kill prey unnecessarily. So they are not going to kill the prey unnecessarily, right? Then if the predators, I told you that as the predators are, okay, preying on their prey, so prey will also try to escape from the predator. So prey tries to escape from predator. So prey tries to escape from the predator. So what happens in this case, okay, right? To escape from the predator, some of these organisms have started, okay, something called camouflaging. So they will be doing camouflage. Okay, so camouflaging means blending with the background. Like for example, the frogs, so they develop certain kind of colors that match with the background color. So if they are sitting on the leaf, then the body of that, okay, uh, the frog will be also the green color, so that when the frog sits on the green leaf, okay, the frog will also be having the green color along with that leaf. So hence the predator will not be able to pinpoint or locate where is that frog present. It will be not able to locate it, so thereby escaping from the, right, what I say, the predators. And even in case of many butterflies, insects, okay, even you can see something called stick insect. So it just looks like one of the branch of the plant. a dried branch of the plant, and it tries to see that locations and will be try to live in that location. So hence the predator will not have the chance to identify those animals, okay, or I say prey, right? So in this case, some examples we see, like in case of frogs, insects, so they show this property called camouflaging here, right? Now the next one we'll see about one example we'll see in the case monarch butterfly. Okay, so of course this monarch butterfly is not showing camouflage but a different adaptation that actually prevents the predator from eating this one, right? So this monarch butterfly is distasteful to its predator. So means the predator doesn't like, because it doesn't taste good. Okay, so how and why it doesn't taste good here, how it happened. So let's see. The predator in this case is birds. The birds usually pick up these butterflies, okay, whenever they see, as they are insects. So as the birds who feed on insects, they like to eat the butterflies, and this monarch butterfly is not going to be taste. It will not good tasting. So and the predators do not like to mess with this monarch butterfly, right? So what happens in that case? So here this monarch butterfly is going to acquire a chemical, so during its caterpillar stage. So it acquires a chemical during its caterpillar stage. So during its caterpillar stage, so it requires a chemical during its caterpillar stage, okay, and that is by feeding on a poisonous weed, by feeding on a poisonous weed. On a poisonous weed. So when it feeds on that poisonous weed, the monarch butterfly is going to acquire that chemical, and right, it will be not at all good to taste, and moreover, okay, it can cause severe complications in the predators who eat them. So hence these predators will not eat this butterfly, that is monarch butterfly, whenever they see them, right? So this is in case of animals. So as I said, that animals have the ability to move away from the predators, and they camouflage themselves, or they develop, okay, certain kind of chemicals to avoid the predation. But what about in case of plants? Now in plants, as the plants are not able to get away from the predator, so they don't have that chance to move away from the predators, okay. So here when we see, nearly 25% of insects are phytophagous, means the phytophagous, which means plant eating or plant eaters. So nearly 25% of insects are plant eaters, so they're phytophagous, okay. And the plants don't have that ability to get away from. So for that reason, to avoid these insects, now the insects are predators to the plant species. Now for that reason, to avoid this, they have developed certain kind of right mechanisms to avoid the action of these predators. So what that mechanisms the plants have developed to avoid these predators? So like so some of these plants have developed right morphological and chemical defenses. So they developed morphological and chemical defenses against predators. So they develop these, okay, mechanisms. So some of them are morphological. So morphological, like development of thorns. So we see the morphological are the development of thorns in acacia. So the development of thorns in acacia, okay, is, and even in case of cactus also you can take, etc. You have seen the morphological, adaptations, right? So thorns are very big, and because of this, the predators especially, so of course not of insects, like giraffes, okay, and other deers and all who like to feed on the plants. So for them, some of the plants have developed these thorns to avoid, okay, from being eaten. Then once we see the chemical differences, okay, so this is morphological, and another one will say about chemical defense. So coming to this chemical defense, a weed named calotropis. So calotropis is a weed, okay, and this calotropis has developed a highly poisonous substance, and it will be seen in its body. So it will develop a highly poisonous substance, okay, which we call it cardiac glycosides, okay. So it produces a highly poisonous substance. It produces a highly poisonous substance, and that poisonous substance is called the cardiac glycosides. That poisonous substance is called cardiac glycosides, and these cardiac glycosides can actually kill the predators when they feed on this calotropis. So that's why of course the predators know it, and they do not like to eat this calotropis at all, okay. So that's the chemical defense this prey developed to avoid the predators. And not only this, like we say the cardiac glycosides, many plants have developed many other substances, okay. So other substances, so that are developed by the plants, that include, okay, nicotine. So nicotine, okay, so is produced by some of the plants here, like in case of tobacco and all, right? Then even caffeine, so nicotine, caffeine, and then quinine is also a substance that produced by the plants to avoid the predators here. And then strychnine is another chemical substance. Then opium, etc., are different substances that are produced by the plants to prevent what I say, the predation, right? So with this I'll end this session. So in the next session we'll see about parasitism, mutualism, and amensalism. So with that we will be completing this chapter, organisms and populations.